You sound fabulous.
Thank you. I hit record, so
Wonderful.
you can intro us, Daniel.
Oh, it's a really complex intro. Welcome to Between the Galaxies with Chelsea and Dan and Opal. We're
Opal,
excited.
hello.
Yeah.
It's me.
It's me.
It's here.
And we just like to just start off right off the bat. Why don't you introduce yourself in whatever capacity that you see fit? Who you
Wonderful.
are, what your name is, anything you want to give to
The
the
world.
listener.
Wonderful. Well, hello, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here with you all today, here in the room and in the ethers, wherever you may be listening. You will hear that voice often, so just prepare for that.
I love
I love it.
So my name is Opal Hopkins. I am a sound alchemist, a Munay-Ki practitioner, and a doula of various sorts. So ranging from birth doulaing to being a death doula as well.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I have a wide range of intuitive gifts, and I step into the communities with deep intention and purpose of service. Yeah, and that's what I feel called to share for now.
I
but
like that.
I'm sure it will unfold.
Oh, yes. I love it.
I love it, and I love you going into like this British character because I do that all the time.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, the that voice for me is, I do Akashic oracle readings.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
And when I go to the Akashic, that's like, it's like me in the library. Like, oh, I'm taking the things off the shelf and I'm reading.
got it.
It's a fun,
That's awesome.
my owl's voice.
Exactly.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that so much. I have so many questions right off the bat, but why don't you explain a little bit, because we have listeners of all
Oh, yeah.
demographics, like
Sure.
age, understanding of spiritual practices, of
Yeah.
all sorts of things.
We've been slowly planting seeds in all of them. So
Yes. So
This
I
will
would
be episode 8, so they'll
Oh,
get a
that's
little bit
beautiful.
of stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe just like give a brief summary of each of the things that you
Sure.
just said
Oh,
that you
yeah.
do, if you're
Yeah,
okay with
yeah.
that.
Absolutely. So as a sound alchemist, that is, in the practice of sound healing, of course. I've been doing sound healing since like 2021 was when I first got my bowls. And so I have crystal singing bowls, and then the quartz ones, and then I have various instruments. So I have hide drums. I have 3 different hide drums, several rattles, a sistrum, because got to bring Egypt in here, because that's always a part of the
Yeah.
conversation. Love them. And some Tibetan bowls as well, flutes, so various sound healing instruments. And so through this practice, I've been holding space in the community, and I have come to note that my practice as a sound healer looks different from other sound healers that have been in practice. And the alchemy piece comes with the ability to see energy and actively hold space for how it transforms.
Oh, yeah.
And so when intention and containers are set for each of the sound offerings that are held, that is kept in heart, not only from the way that the flyer is designed, to calling in the people who are to be a part of this practice with the intention that was set. And then when we actually get to the practice, honoring all the souls that are coming to be a part of it. That includes the ancestral realms, the ancient realms, the land, the ancestors of the land as well. So there are just a lot of layers that are considered when those containers are facilitated. And so that's where I kind of stepped into the alchemy piece, because I'm like, oh, this is like large, like it feels large for me, large scale, and just not everybody has that refined gift of being able to see the energy move in the room.
Yeah.
And also, like, a lot of the people are strangers. And so when we have strangers in a room gathering, sometimes that energy release can release into the air, and we got to make sure that it is like,
Moving.
transformed.
Yeah.
And so, so that's been a really sacred honor to step forward in. I've been so grateful to receive the love from this community here in Munay-Ki, where we are recording. And yeah, it's been beautiful too to get to travel. So I've been around Washington doing sound baths.
cool.
I went on a little tour back at the end of 2024, and it was called In the Light of Death. And I had been
cool.
in this space in that year of just like working through a lot of grief work on a really deep level for me. And
Cool.
so at the
Yeah.
end of the year, I was like, let's take it to the communities.
Yes,
love that.
exactly.
Good.
I had 5 different sound baths, and I went to the Tri-Cities for one, and then over to Seattle for 2 I did with a soul brother of mine, and then one independently up north, and then the one in the Tri-Cities I did with a soul sister as well, and that was really powerful. And then I came back here and I did 2 with the community here. So it was a really powerful time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yeah, what a
it's-
cool tour to go on and
Yeah.
do it
yeah.
with soul siblings.
Yes,
Soul
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
They're absolutely wonderful. And so that is the sound alchemy piece.
You articulated that really well.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain that work to
Yeah.
somebody that might not even understand that it's even in existence.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Well,
And it's great to hear it from like you being conscious of all the energies at work, and not just some people are like understand things and they share it. You know, okay, this is the bowls, this is what we're doing, but being able to understand like the frequencies that are at play and the
How it's
energies
impacting everybody.
from others who might be in a different, you know, like everybody's different energies, different frequencies, kind of like different parts and experience and stuff. So it alters that, and being able to understand that is pretty cool too,
yeah,
because
yeah.
you'll be able to kind of know, and maybe that,
Very
good.
trauma informed.
yeah, very trauma informed,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And then be able to know when certain energies are like just like too high, and you might have to like bring it back down. And
Oops, that was my phone.
That's okay. I kicked
And,
the table. I was
being
like,
able to grab you- yeah, and that's the best part of this is it's very organic.
And those are very cheap tables, so they're not
Yeah.
hard to disturb.
It was awesome. I was like, Chelsea's like, mess with the lights.
I know.
I'm like,
Sorry.
you're the best. You're the
Wonderful.
best. It's awesome. But yeah, being able to like understand the energies at play, and being able to kind of give that understanding, that experience, and that knowledge to the energy to know how to handle it, which is really
Yeah,
good. Which is
yeah.
really awesome.
Well, and it was a learning curve.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
At
absolutely.
the very beginning, like when you go from just playing for yourself to like
To
playing for a
other-
group of people,
Yes.
like in Wenatchee here, we have a park that's called Ohm Gardens, and
Oh, wow.
there was
Yeah.
a summer that I just received clear guidance that I needed to do sound healing every week all summer.
Yep.
And
That's awesome.
so 2023, that summer, I did 9 sessions there back to back every week, and they sold out every week. And that was the first time I had like
Even
stepped out
Yeah.
into the community. So I was
Wow.
like, oh my goodness. With
That's
that
so
though,
cool.
I really had to develop where my own energetic boundaries
yes,
were.
absolutely. Isn't
Because
that
it
the-
was like
wow.
I was coming home and I'm like, gosh,
Right.
why do I feel
drained or
this feels like we should be there's a way to navigate this in a
Absolutely.
more protected way. And so
Mm-hmm.
through practice and like showing up with the intention of just like, okay, I leave the energies of this space where they are and I offer them to Pachamama to transmute. And through that, like this other door opened, which was a whole other side quest of working with the beautiful ancestors of the Pascosa peoples here in Wenatchee.
That's
And yeah, that was super divine. That was a
Yeah.
super divine summer. They always are, but that was like the core of my work began in that.
yeah.
And so, yes, so that is that piece. Yeah, and then the Munay-Ki practitioner is a new practitioner training I haven't officially announced, and so exclusive
Ooh,
if I
yay.
haven't said it.
The reveal.
Yes, true. I recently trained with the Four Winds as a practitioner, and the Four Winds is a foundation, organization. They're a group that was founded by Alberto Villanaldo, and he is a traditionally trained anthropologist, but is also a shaman and
Cool. Oh, cool.
has worked with various indigenous populations around the world, but more specifically in Peru. And so
cool.
I've always had this really beautiful connection with Peru. And over the last couple of years, it had kind of been coming up what the Munay-Ki is. And so just to speak on that a little bit. So Munay is Quechua for love. And so Quechua is the language spoken by the Quiero Nation in the Andes in Peru. And these are the medicine men and women who went to the mountains when the colonialization began to happen. And they are also descendants of the Incan Empire. And they are mountain peoples, which seeing that we are in a valley of mountains, it's like, ooh, this. I see this connect.
Lovely.
And
that's awesome.
So yeah, that journey began when I got Alberto's book, Shaman, Healer, Sage, and there were two parts in that book that I flipped to. It was the Sacred Space Invocation, and it's the calling in of the 4 protectors and the 4 archetypes, which are serpent, jaguar, hummingbird, and eagle. And then thanking Pachamama and thanking Father Sky. And it's just setting sacred container for practice to occur. So that was like highlighted in that book. And then the death rites that shamans walk with individuals, that like was the other part that came up. And so I like sat with that for like over a year and was like, gosh, these animals, like this feels so like, it just was so, it felt so in alignment for me. And then the second year, I was vending, doing Akashic readings in the Tri-Cities, and there was this pie stone that like kept pulling my eye, and I couldn't stop looking at it. Like, you're buying this. This isn't a conversation. Exactly. I love those directives,
right?
Yes.
when the guides are like, awesome. You're doing this. I'm like, okay, thank you. And they were. So I went and I got it, and then I was like, oh gosh, like I feel like this is connected somehow to Peru. And so I just looked up Pie Stone Peru, like That's just to awesome. See what it brought me to, and it brought up the Munay-Ki. And at the time did not connect the two, like that there was overlay. And so then I sat with this Pie Stone and I got information about the Munay-Ki from a different shaman practitioner. And I just started to understand what these rites were. And so to go into what the Munay-Ki is, so Munay is love, and that is the traditional exchange from the shamans to, it began as spirit to peoples, and then the shamans to communities and, initiates. And, but Munay-Ki is Alberto's kind of translation of those medicines from the shamans to the West. And so that cool. is a lot of his practice, and a lot of his work is being a translator for these medicines to be shared on a wider scale. He had the wisdom and like the knowledge and support to step forward on those paths. And it just has been so beautiful to learn about his journey too. So I invite
kind of like a walker between worlds and sharing both sides.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so Munay-Ki, so we have love, and then Ki is taken from the Japanese life force. So love of life force is what that can translate to.
That's awesome.
And so essentially there are 10 rites currently, and they have been they've been passed from spirit to human over thousands of years, and they've kind of like with each kind of turn of events on the collective scale, like a new rite has stepped forward. And so we begin with the healer's rite, and that is just coming into, what does it mean to be a healer? What does it mean to be a holder of medicine? And how do we walk that with honor, and how do we like activate that within us? And then we continue to go through the to like bands of power, and it's just this beautiful way to embody like higher wisdom on a really anchored scale. And the bands of power are rooted in the element medicine. And so we have fire, water, earth and air. I was also seeing the crossover of Chinese element
Oh,
medicine.
yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Yep.
And yeah, and so then it continues to build, and I invite, if you're curious to research more about the rites as well. Just stepping into what it means to receive them, and then as a practitioner being able to, meet with a person and pass those rites on to them. The Kyoto Nation are farmers, and so these rites are seeds, and once the
cool.
seed
Yep.
is passed on to you, it's up to you to nurture it and tend to it and grow it, and you'll see your whole body strengthen in that, and your whole energetic field strengthen. And that was a really big piece in stepping forward on this journey for me as a practitioner. Was like, I could go to the earth keeping scale, which is like up here, and then like kind of coming back into the everyday day-to-day life. I was like, I could get there, but I was like falling down the stairs to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's just like land softly. And now I feel like I can really identify that a lot quicker and navigate that with a different fluidity than I could before. And so it just feels like a much smoother process for me. And so as a practitioner, like my intention is to step forward and offer the rites to those who feel called to participate with them. And, to also utilize them in how I am of service with earth medicine as well.
That is so amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very,
Yeah,
very
I'm
excited about it.
Yeah, I'm like, I am captivated.
Literally, I'm like, on camera, we're gonna just be like, what the?
Whoa.
Like, there's a very few times
And then
that we're
we were like
speechless.
this. We're like, because you've been sharing like stuff that's been like super profound in both of our lives, and like timings, and I'm like,
Yeah.
she literally explained like what we're going through for the last year in like 5 minutes, and it was totally relatable. I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
Keep going.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
That is really amazing, and I feel honored that you're sort of announcing this in this space to us when you haven't even really like put it out there yet. It's
It turns
amazing.
out being seen is something that Spirit has also invited me to do. So I'm like, here I am.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. I'm like,
Yes.
literally, it's like listening to her. I'm like, are you me? We're all like, oh my gosh, the unity is
The
happening.
answer is yes,
it's like,
because we're all
Right.
are
I've been going through the same, like, heavy grief, and they've heard it time and times before, but it's like, and just like, I'm going for it. Like, and that's what you've been doing. And it's amazing, the energy and the, like, being able to get rid of the doubts and just go with what, your true intention is, and experiencing and discovering and learning and sharing. I'm like, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a space where you're going to be practicing these, all of your gifts and talents and magic?
So for the sound alchemy, so yes, I will be out of Wenatchee Community Acupuncture as she opens her new space. So shout out to Miss Jill.
Awesome.
Where's that going to be? Do you
It'll
know
be at 26 Orondo Avenue, I believe.
It's like right down the road.
In between Cupcake Blues and the Times Capsule.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we're working on getting that space completed as this is being recorded, depending on when it gets released. But beautiful space, beautiful acupuncturist, beautiful human, all the way around.
How
So
exciting to partner with someone like that.
That's awesome.
So I'm really excited. We'll have a sound bath kind of as part of that opening space in May. And so
that's right around
That's
the
so
corner.
cool.
yeah, it's just a couple of weeks ago.
That is so exciting. Well,
Yeah,
we're
so we'll
excited
be-
to post all that information when it becomes
absolutely.
available.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
we'll
appreciate
be
that.
not this Monday, but the next Monday will be when this episode's live.
Oh,
so.
wonderful. That's
It's kinda
wonderful.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank you, full moon and Aries.
Yes, yes,
It's
indeed.
so awesome. And then the funny part of it all is like our last episode 7, we dived into like divine timing and
Oh, wow.
Versus
fate
free will
and free will.
a little talk about organized religion. We didn't want to.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
but I saw
yeah.
people were liking it. There
Oh,
was
I know.
thousands of
Yeah.
views on it. I saw
Yes.
you, girl.
yeah. I was like, ooh.
was like-
She's like, I'm gonna post this clip. Are you cool with it? I'm like, go for it.
It's those controversial topics that get the, get
The
people
juices
looking.
moving,
Yeah. And then just, that conversations of organized religion and versus spirituality and, you know how it goes.
And then like the biggest thing we've been like experiencing and then bringing through the podcast is just being able to share beliefs and then letting other people kind of trying to guide people to understand that there's many different beliefs and it's wonderful to be able to give them space to express their beliefs and not just be trampled on, you know. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yep,
So
absolutely.
it's awesome.
It is awesome.
I've gotten really good at like when I can recognize that I don't necessarily resonate with a person's belief, rather than responding from an emotional space, I'll be like, oh, that's like, that either doesn't resonate for me, so I'll say that back to them, or like, oh, that's like your truth. Like that's not just
that's
helping
awesome.
it, like the space identify that it's like, oh, that's something that's true for you, not necessarily for all. My being a teacher comes up in those moments of like, oh, this is an opportunity for like a young perspective to develop more.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that, no matter how old or young a person is. We're all learning to nurture our own hearts in that way and expanding the oneness factor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm really glad that you said what you said about having to sort of just set those like energetic boundaries essentially in a teaching role.
Yeah.
I found that I had to do that a lot when I used to teach high school art and middle school, and there's a lot of young views and beliefs being formed.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of young views and beliefs being manipulated by adults that don't have that respect. And they're very much, no, this is the way it is and you must believe this. And it's very conditioned and forced. But I didn't approach things like that. I held space for them to say what's on their mind and ask questions and just acknowledge like that is a truth for you or for that adult that taught you that, but it sometimes isn't the truth for the collective or for all or for me or for them over there. And just having them understand that it's like, oh, okay, so I don't have to believe like what my history teacher just told me about that politician and what happened 20 years ago. It's like, yeah, no, do your own research.
Yeah,
exactly.
Discern.
Yeah, I have taught kids part-time for the last several years, and
that's awesome.
That's been something I know I do a lot. I do a lot
do
around
a
it. Wide range of gifts around here, but one of the things that has come up is some really tough topics. Like these kids, they have no, like, they don't have context to why they're big topics.
Exactly, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's very neat.
There was a conversation of race that came up and some words that were exchanged between a student who had a different race than another student at school. And so then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, and I'm having this conversation consciously within myself.
Exactly.
Of like, okay, I could respond in a way that is very charged because I'm also witnessing it activate me a little bit. And I'm like, okay, let's just take a time out for a second. Let's listen to what he's saying. And then offer conversation or like perspective around it. And that was how I chose to navigate it, was like, oh, this is why that may be hurtful, because, that is something that they cannot even begin to change. And he was equating like his response to something he had said to like being on the same level as race, a comment about race. And I was like, I understand why you would think that. And just like letting it be a conversation for perspective expansion versus it being like, you're bad. I'm like,
you can't say that. No, like,
right. And it's,
and then you're like, what's the learning process of it? Like a lot of people just need to receive a lesson instead of like a reaction, Exactly.
Cool. Yeah. And so when it comes in taking that skill and working with the youth, when it comes to spiritual development and like working with adults in that way, I apply those skills. So my master's degree is in education, specifically higher ed. And so teaching adults,
we keep looking at each other.
That's my master's too.
Yeah. I'm like, so much stuff is aligned with her.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm like literally everything.
To
Sorry.
derail. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, we like to fanboy and fangirl people.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. As a fangirl, I
Yes.
totally recognize and honor.
That's awesome.
Celebrate that. Yeah. So working with adults has been, and kind of taking those lessons in, working in, specifically something in my program was working in multi-generational environments. And that class was so powerful to understand kind of just more zoomed out experience of what that can look like. And it's okay, someone who has worked in this job for 40 years is gonna have a harder time.
Yes.
Because they also have a whole their societal beliefs were
wild.
built at a different time in society, and
2 generations ago.
exactly.
Yeah.
And how can we honor that? And so so that's been a powerful thing to do.
Are
too.
you teaching in the public school?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I tutor privately.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Okay,
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So, and that's cool because I feel like there's less pressure.
Totally.
Oh gosh.
We can really focus on students
Yes.
and what their need is in that moment. And sometimes that need in that moment isn't academics.
Yep.
Exactly.
They need social support. They need
Thank you.
emotional support. I know. Let me just talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome.
I don't think that the regulations that are in place as they currently stand accommodate the significant deterioration of academics because of COVID.
Yeah.
And that is
Yep.
we're seeing the long-term impacts and
Oh,
effects
yeah.
of that, from how
Preach, yep.
students engage socially to, their academic capability. Some students writing is challenging.
Oh, absolutely.
Just penmanship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just handwriting.
Yeah, because they spent so much time on devices.
Exactly.
and trying to shove everyone into the same standard
Yeah.
standards.
Boo boxes.
Yeah, come on, boxes, break them open. Yeah, I'm like, it's unattainable. I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why I couldn't teach anymore in the public school system.
Oh.
I had to leave. Because my paradigms were completely shifted
Yeah.
and out of alignment with how the system works.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even as a passionate, driven individual, you can't change a system that big within.
Right.
You can't.
Exactly.
Right.
And, when I stepped away from my traditional 9 to 5, because that applies across many different
oh, absolutely.
spaces, it's when you have that realization of, oh, this isn't in alignment with me. This system is not built to support me and my individual success, and not from a place of selfishness, but this recognition of I can't bring all that I have to offer to this space because it's not
Absolutely.
built to hold it. Ooh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
Title it.
It's not built to hold. That's good. That's my grandma. She comes through sometimes. She's like, yes, I love it.
No,
That's
you're hitting the
awesome.
nail on the
Oh,
head.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I took both my boys out of public school and moved them into I live in Quincy and moved them into Quincy Innovation Academy.
Okay.
And it's big picture learning, and then they
Project-based.
just
They thrive.
oh,
They thrive.
I'm like, why was this not for me? This would have been perfect. It's
Yeah.
project based. It's giving education individually to your uniqueness and allowing that uniqueness to be expressed and actually hey, this is how we could use this. And they got rid of grades, and it's all evaluation, and it's self-evaluation, which is
Wow.
amazing. I'm like,
Wow.
oh my gosh. And it's it's promoting the kids to actually express themselves instead of repeating something they were
Right.
told.
Yeah.
Right. Now, is the style of this more in alignment with the Montessori or the Waldorf, or is it completely?
It would be similar to
Okay.
Montessori because of the project base.
Okay.
And having sort of this is your work over here, and you're focusing on this work, and when you're done with your work, you put it away and
Okay.
you go to another work. And it's very individualized like that. But it from my understanding, because my youngest is in a Montessori school, and but there are differences because big picture learning is still sort of influenced by the public system
Yeah.
a little
Sure.
bit.
Because they
Okay.
have
Whereas-
to kind of, because they kind of have to,
Yeah.
because to get the diploma
The
recognition,
the standards
all
met
that,
and
all
all
the-
those,
Okay,
yeah.
fair
So when you graduate, you actually graduate with a
Okay.
diploma
Yeah.
and everything,
Okay.
and it's recognized, and it's like it's wild how all
And,
those
and there's
words.
a Montessori school here in town that goes all the way through graduation. So once those kids get into high school ages, they even have to kind of put aside some of that Montessori practice and prove
Right.
that they're meeting these standards so
Exactly.
that they can get a diploma in
Right.
But
you
it's
know,
amazing because the language is getting a lot better, and like overall as a state and a country, it's starting to be more accepted,
Yeah.
which is awesome. It's like so, and then learning the language and how to like translate the stuff they're doing to high school standards is getting pretty cool. And then being like, okay, we could go with that. Yeah, that
yeah,
works.
loopholes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, and it's amazing because like the language in big picture, I'm like, wow, like this is, and I feel like the high school's trying to kind of, they're learning from them, you know, and be like, oh man, we should do more of this. This is pretty amazing. The kids are like thriving. And it's cool too, because my youngest, who's a senior this year, he's been going to the high school and it's just like the
Teaching
students
classes.
in teaching classes.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And
Yeah.
he's so introverted, but he loves the topic that he's teaching and going to class for. So he's able to be fluid with it and share it. And it's just cool seeing he's noticing like the other students are like, wow, man, you guys are like really learning stuff that I wish I would have learned in my 12 years of schooling, you know. It's
Yeah.
like really empowering the student,
Yeah.
which is
That's
amazing.
exciting.
Yes.
I'm really grateful to witness the alternative options that are available here in a more rural community. Considerably. I mean, there are places outside of Wenatchee that are certainly more rural, but
Yeah.
in the way that, that word works. But anywho, just for context for the listeners as well. I've had the opportunity to see the different things that are available here in Wenatchee, ones that are in Leavenworth, and it's great to hear that Quincy has options as well.
Right.
Trusting that Moses Lake will have some
Something.
support
Absolutely,
too.
yeah. And Soap Lake has a huge big picture program. That's where Elijah's current main teacher that transferred from Soap Lake
Which
to
is
Quincy.
tiny. Do you know where that's at?
Soap Lake?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
That
like,
lake is
that's
magic.
awesome.
Yeah.
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 I need to go
Oh
there.
yes.
I haven't.
I went to a roller derby gathering
Oh, that's
out there
awesome.
when Wenatchee had a roller derby team.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so cool.
That's so cool. So we went down on an academic bunny trail, which I often do because I came from it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But and
It's
very
so
passionate.
cool.
But I would love to hear about doula.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Life and death doula.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
excited. So I first will begin with the death doula piece because that stepped forward first. So intuitively, was that 2023? That was like the big. Oh no, it was 2020. No, it was 2023 because it was after I changed my name. I changed my name. My name wasn't originally Opal.
Ooh. I love Opal though.
Yeah,
Amazing.
thanks.
change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Oh, I love
It came to me in a dream, which we'll circle back to because that's a big deal.
it. Yeah.
For many reasons, it needs to be spoken here today. But anywho, intuitively, I just had received this like really big hit of grief with a close loved one, and I genuinely, deeply like felt that they would be departing. Like after receiving this, knowing like it was so like when I intuitively connect, I can feel kind of vibrationally where that information is landing in the frequency. And I watched this piece of information come down from the stars and like hit Earth's atmosphere. And it was like, oh, this is present in this space now. And so from there, it kind of like developed into understanding how grief moved through my body, because this specific person in my life departing would really impact me. And like I was feeling it so vividly. Like I was going to get the call today, like, you know, and it was just like, okay, let me be with this. And then it was like, I had a dream where, oh, I just love this person so much. I had a dream where, we created the place that we would go to meet after they departed.
That's
and
awesome.
2 days after that dream, they described like, oh, I had a dream the other day. Like, and we
Yes.
were walking along this path and
Yeah.
then we went and sat, and I'm like,
Oh,
yes,
yep.
yes. Yeah, I know that space. And,
That's awesome.
yeah. And just periodically, and, you know, for those who have known me through that time, were there to support me in that. 'Cause I'm like, I feel like this is going to happen. And like, this is what I'm navigating. And so, yeah. And it was just so vivid. And I just started to realize how to support my heart in those moments. 'Cause it's like when you're within grief, unfortunately, the world doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Like your world might
Absolutely.
for that moment, but there are like responsibilities. And like, I had to learn to navigate that because also as a business owner, you can't just ditch all the things that you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
If you want to navigate responsibly. And, you know, that was a learning curve, and just understanding those pieces and allowing the grief to come up when it needed to. And then, I am not sure of the name, but I know in Jewish traditions, in the processing of grief, there are like 5 stages. And the first stage is to feel to the depths of grief. So that is within
Absolutely.
that, first, you know, 1 to 3, 5 hours after receiving the information, just to allow your soul to go completely there. No
Yep.
holding back, just do it. And, it kind of builds continuously as well of, you know, just kind of like just somewhat of a structure of like how to honor that grief through the time that it is coming up without losing yourself to it. And I believe it's like after the 4th or 5th step is like, after 30 days, like that's when you can start to return to maybe the more normal things. And after 7 days, you can maybe start reintroducing your routines. And again, research on this would be helpful for those listening who just want to honor those traditions as well. But yeah, that was really impactful to have that information.
yeah.
A close friend gave that, or shared that with me. And so, yeah. And then the months went by, the year went by, and the person was still here. And I was like, okay. And what was interesting was like, when I would see them and like touch their hand, I would feel their soul making the choice. Like I could feel death within them. And I'm like, okay. And then a happening occurred mid last year, in 2025, where it shifted and they made the choice to stay.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
so,
Whoa.
and there wasn't any physical evidence
Yeah, exactly.
that this was unfolding. I just felt it energetically. And so beautiful time to be navigating. And then, my grandfather had passed away in July of last year. And, I felt grief like live through all these channels. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Like this is what this feels like. And, you know, I am very grateful to also have assisted his soul home. I had a beautiful dream. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, great.
I love it.
So the day that he had passed, or the day before he had passed, here in Wenatchee, they were having a like birth gathering, like for like people who do birth work here. And it was called It Takes a Village. And there's a bunch of doulas, lactation consultants, chiropractors, like movement folks, family support, physical therapists, massage therapists, a whole range of different people. And I was just guided to go, and they had told me to dress in all white to go to this, which that's like my ceremonial outfit. I'm like,
oh yeah,
in Wenatchee? I said, I've only dressed in white on the sacred mountain of Mount Shasta. I'm like,
yeah,
okay. And so I go, and
that's awesome.
as I'm standing talking to a person, it was like the altitude changed so fast. Like, and I could not hear her talking to me. And I'm like, well, I need to get out of here. I'm like, I don't know what is going on, but this is like really wild. And so then I like stay there for a little bit longer, and I end up going home, and I am pulled to be in ancestral work. And so I have a book my uncle put together, lots of years of research for the Hopkins lineage, and I'm just pulled to just start looking at it. And when I do, that's like the ancestral calling of like, okay, we need to like rewire some stuff and like do some things. And so I'm within it for some time, and I was working with a close friend who is a genealogist, and she's also very deeply intuitive, and that's like part of her medicine is ancestral genealogy. And I was called. It was the first day I made my first loaf of sourdough. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I put it on the altar, and then I'm pulling pictures of the grandmothers, and I'm sitting, and I'm like, wow, this is like what's going on? Like, and I didn't ask. It's just one of those like, oh, this is notable that this, like, there's something happening. And I'm sitting there, and I see like my grandmother's gathering from this book, and it's my grandfather's mom on my left, and then it goes through the lineage all the way to my grandmother, his wife, on the right. And then his mom looks at me and was like, I'm ready for my son to come home. And I was like, okay. And then 30 minutes later, my mom called me that my grandfather was in the hospital. Wow. And it was critical condition, was going to be moved to hospice, and by Tuesday. And I told my mom and my dad, like, I was like, I need you to know I've had a day, and prepare to receive that information tonight. He's not gonna, like, that's not gonna be today or on Tuesday. And so that night I had a beautiful dream where I walked him home, and we were in the ancestral gateway, and
I know.
It's good.
I was checking in to see if I could share this, because I was just want to honor. Okay, he's like, yeah, you can share it. Thank you. We were driving, and he was just in this car, and he's like, I need some gas. I was like, all right, let's pull over and get some gas, Grandpa. And so we get some gas, and when he gets out of the car, it's just a frame of a car left. And he was like, where am I going to put the gas? And then consciously in the dream, I'm recognizing that what this represents, what this is. And I just grab his hands, and I'm like, you can make this car into whatever you want it to be. What kind of car do you want it to be? And he's like, ooh, a pink Cadillac with an emerald green stripe around the side of it. And I was like, okay. And then the car became that car, and he got in, and he drove through like these two like pillars where it was like zoomed in, but then outside of it, it was like pushed back, and that was it. And when I woke up, I was like, oh yeah, this journey is complete for the soul. And my mom had texted me that he had passed earlier that morning. And so in that dream, I gathered with soul sisters, and we drummed in this golden threshold, and it just was so beautiful to that day go to be with birth workers, and then that night walk him home. And yeah, it was just absolutely incredible. And so the journey of birth work had kind of gone side by side with that, because there is this like ancestral awareness of what happens when a soul departs, but then there's this, what happened when a soul arrives. And earlier in 2025, I had trained with the wonderful Center for Indigenous Midwifery based out of Olympia.
Cool.
Love the team so much. And they are a nonprofit organization that offers various birth keeping opportunities to BIPOC and Indigenous folks, and because they're a nonprofit and receive different grants, they're able to offer those resources often for low to no cost. So I did a birth doula training with them, and it just was so powerful to feel so seen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
In that community, in these communities. I think as a person of color and like who resonates and has Indigenous ancestry, it was just a beautiful, and I feel like they carry the medicines of indigenous peoples from around the world, because it's not just here on Turtle Island, that the choo-choo train was just like, and we're going.
Yep.
Yeah,
I do the
I
same
feel like they carry that medicine with such grace and wisdom, and this unification of, like, for me, it was this union of like the physical and the spiritual coming together at this like really divine threshold. And, you know, doula work has been so powerful to witness, and to witness people in this deeply vulnerable space, and to hold ceremony around
absolutely, yeah.
their I was going to say student. I was still in the academia space. Their child coming forth, and that's one of the things that I feel like this nonprofit really honors deeply. In addition to, you know, training folks with perspectives of plant medicines and, like, you know, trauma informed care and what that looks like in these spaces, and historically what that has meant, because there is a lot of history around people of color in the birthing space, and like the disparities and traumas that carries, and how ancestrally that like is still being unraveled, and how to walk into spaces with that in heart and still with wisdom, you know. So words. Sometimes I just like, but
no, you're doing great, and it's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. And so as a birth doula, my intention is to join sound medicine, join ceremony, and really, you know, walk people with that awareness, but also the actual like more medical side of it. Like, what are the interventions that could come up? You know, how can we help you navigate how to navigate that in that moment and advocate for yourself. And like, you know, what do you want? You do get choice in this, because that's another thing. People don't necessarily feel supported in being able to make medical decisions on their own, and they receive, you know, well, this person is a doctor, like they know best, and it's like they have information, yes, but I want I trust that their information would be like,
it's not the end all be all.
It's
not the one and only way.
Right. And I'm like, our job is to help you make a informed decision.
Absolutely. With you as the center of it, and not like, who knows what knowledge is, you know, there's so many. Right. And potential biases. And you know, that's a reality that, that sometimes walks into the room, and, you know, in various states around the country, like that is a very big topic of conversation, because that disparity is large. And so, so doula work, and then stepping in as a midwife assistant as well has come in. And then I am on the path to being a midwife in the next several years. But yeah, it's beautiful to interweave all of these pieces, and to really be a like threshold witnesser from these layers, because it's it's just very powerful.
But it's so powerful. I love how it's all interconnecting for you and coming together into this nice little gift that you can provide for people. Yeah. And I'm also currently in the Indigenous Childbirth Educator program right now, and that's been super fun. So we've been doing classes every week, and just about the different kind of topics, and being able to teach with that perspective of like the traditional ways of birthing, and then with kind of the medical Western medicine piece. So bridging the two is what the founder really speaks to often in how she talks about this work. It's not pushing Western medicine to the side, because there are helpful, very life-saving measures that are offered by Western medicine.
But again, bringing that, how can we empower birthing peoples
Absolutely.
to be
And it's
empowered in
being
their
like
experience?
conscious and aware and stuff. Like I don't know. I love holistic medicine, alternative medicine, just because it's not like automatically looking at you and your symptoms and be like, well, we could do this drug. It's more like, where are you at? Let's talk about this. Let's. These are your options, and then I'm like, what options? It's
Right.
cool because it's scary when you're dealing with health things,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
you know, and you don't know.
Right.
It's just so you're like, and then a lot of times like there's amazing doctors and amazing people everywhere, and then sometimes it's just like you're putting your life in this person's hands,
Right.
and you're like, how much of a priority am I to you, or am I
Yeah.
just like your 200 patient
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a number. So
and
it's
you're
like,
definitely, you've experienced being just like a number and with your mom, like not getting the treatment that she deserves, and it resulted in a very tragic outcome.
oh
And
yeah,
it's just the system. Yeah.
and COVID
Mm-hmm.
and that shaking of the foundations that all happened. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like merging all that into, you're able to see it in a medical perspective, educational perspective. You're like, man, the country can't shut down because shutting down, that's like, no.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think one of the really powerful things, specifically with this perspective of like the shaman's perspective, when
yeah.
it comes to how physical happenings, like kind of energetically what's happening there, and it's when a physical injury or like illness comes up, that it is often stored within the energetic body. And for me, it's like, okay, how can there's the actual physical body part. It's like, okay, help that. We can do that. How can we also help the part that energy is being stored? And sometimes it gets a little more complex because as people advance on their own spiritual paths, then past life traumas get involved.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
ancestral remembrances are stepping through that
Cycles,
vessel.
karmic cycles.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh
And like the ancient remembrances as well, it's like there are things stored within the energetic bodies of and in the Munay-Ki is the luminous energy field, and how can we assist in that space? Alberto Villonaldo speaks to how like the Western medicine is really good at like killing things, like
right.
specifically with illnesses, like
Yeah.
things that will like flush out the immune system. And then he's like, for something that he was navigating, he, stepped in with Western medicine to help with that, like flood out, and then went in from the shaman perspective and helped heal from that. And that's his
Wow.
Grow a New Body, I think is that book. So yeah, it just, yeah. And I do want to state as well, like Western medicine is very helpful, and it is unfortunate that politics have overlaid into it, because now it's not only is traditional care have like holistic care have limits on it,
Right.
now there are limits on Western medicine as well that are pretty significant from decisions that are being made by people who aren't necessarily medical professionals.
Or
And
in
then-
it for the right reasons.
And then
Yeah.
it being like centered around this made up currency we created as humans called money. I'm like, come on, guys.
I know. Don't get me on my soapbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
It's a whole nother tangent.
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
it's I'm like, come on, guys.
I want to ask what, because I've heard Dan bring it up, Death Cafe.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I want to bring that up. And what
Yeah.
that's all about.
Yeah. So Death Cafe was started by, oh man, I am not sure of his name. So again, research is permitted here. But a gentleman in London, I believe, in the UK at some juncture years ago, and it was just a space for people to gather and talk about death. It is clear in the conversations that it is not a grief circle.
Yeah.
As there's not a back and forth between us and others, as far as like helping us process. But it's, you know, oh man, I was like in grief and this is what I was navigating in it. Like I just need a space to speak it. Like that's
Exactly.
kind of been so.
Which is the cafe part is just
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
It's like, let's have a conversation.
Right, and it's the eat cake and drink tea, talk about death.
Yes.
And that's like kind of the premise, and you can show up as you are. Anybody can come. It's
Absolutely.
free to the public, and there are facilitators currently in place here in Wenatchee, and so death cafes are held internationally. There are
That's awesome.
ones around the world happening every day.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you
Okay.
can go on the deathcafe.com website and type in your zip code, and then you'll see ones that are close to you. And so Wenatchee's started our official one was in November, and it is the first Wednesday of every month from 5:30
cool.
to 7. Yeah. And currently it is at Studio BYU or BYO. Bring your own. Yeah. Which is is it on Yakima? I am not sure. Again, look at Death Cafe Wenatchee
Yeah,
on Instagram.
exactly.
We can link it.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I know I'm sending you all on quite the research, Jenny.
It's good.
Yeah, it's encouraging
fun.
encouraging the
Exactly.
academia. I can't give you all the answers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it has been a powerful thing to participate in, and especially
Yeah.
bringing, you know, some of the pieces that I spoke on about my own navigation with grief work. My best friend is a death doula, and so it's beautiful. We've been friends since we were 5 years old, and
Aw.
so it's like I've stepped into birth
Oh,
work,
that's
and now
awesome.
she's death doula, and it's like, wow, we're incredible together.
Yeah.
We're a great
Yes.
team.
That's
So
amazing.
she's one of the facilitators.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Jill, and then Jillian, my friend, and then Donna, Dana. Yeah, Dana. And I have to remember, there's a specific way it's spelled. Yeah, but anywho, so Dana, hello, sending you light. The four of us had facilitated these ones, and then I recently have stepped away officially as a facilitator, which all that is just, you know, ensuring that the space is respected and that we keep
absolutely.
going, you know, from person to person, and kind of what the Death Cafe looks like, as far as so you come and you can get some tea, you can get some cake, sit down, and, you know, we just someone starts in the circle, and it's like, you know, hi, my name is, and this is why I came to Death Cafe today. Sometimes you will you're called to speak on whatever, and other times it's like, oh, well, I actually don't want to talk today, and that's perfect. Go to the next person.
Yeah.
Because there is also such medicine in listening to others and their
Absolutely.
journeys.
Totally.
And I know for me, it helped me feel very like, oh, I'm not navigating grief by myself. Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
And even like grief that comes up, not necessarily from people dying.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, you know, the grief of an idea that has now not come to fruition, the grief of something that I really wanted to happen that didn't, and, you know, mourning that and walking through
Yeah.
a grief process with that. So it's very exciting. The next one is May 6th.
Yeah.
Do you still go to them even though you're not a facilitator?
Yes. So I haven't for the last couple of times. I didn't feel called, but I do have intention to go as I
cool.
feel
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
I've been deep within the birth realm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it kind of just is the capacity that I have to
Absolutely.
be present.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Can't
Yeah, I
spread
love it.
yourself too thin.
yeah.
I love it too because it's like, you know, like, I don't know, with our conditioning and everything, it's like you hear certain words and you get triggered because, and like death or, you know,
Yeah.
grief, and you're like, oh, it's scary. But it's
Yeah.
like when you dive into it and you take all those like assumptions of what it is and everything away, and you kind of like investigate and learn and listen and hear and see, you start to be like, no, this isn't like a scary like thing, you know.
Right.
It's like you take the shadow out of it kind of and see the light of it. It's pretty neat. And like because there's like certain phobias with suicide, the word suicide and the word death and stuff like that, and how people there's like an automatic assumption on what it is, and it's scary, and we shouldn't talk about it. And if we don't talk about it, it'll go away. And I'm like, whoa, like, come on.
Yeah.
And it's like having that ability to just express yourself and be with others and talk about it is huge, because then you get that little assumption of what it is, and you start seeing others' perspectives and knowledge on these words, and you're like, okay, this, let's shift the power of the word into something more light or understanding. So it's really cool. I like a lot of more people need to talk about death and suicide, so that they have a better understanding on what it is, and not this assumption of negativity or ending or stuff like that, and scary stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the really powerful things, like in the deconstruction that happens with what those words and how they resonate in our bodies. We've had that conversation a couple of times in that space, and just how sometimes when things aren't spoken on directly, there's a sanitizing of what words can mean. And that was just that was really interesting. I as I said that, heard a gong like really loud. I'm like,
gong! Like, you got it.
I'm like, okay. Thank you, Spirit. I appreciate that. That was
awesome.
fascinating. But yeah, it's very, very powerful in that way. And there's something else I was going to say while you're talking. The gong really just like,
like
brought me to a different space. I honor and celebrate that.
That happens to me a lot.
Yep. I love it too, because when you get into sound healing, like the quietness and the stillness portion of it is equal, if not greater, than the vibration and the sound that's happening. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
That's some of my, in moments when I'm facilitating, or even when we're out in nature recording, is inviting people to be in that stillness. Now, I will say there are times where the energy in the room lets me know that, okay, let's move it along.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, we're okay. Let's just,
Yep. That's cool with being aware.
Yeah.
Of the
Yeah.
energies.
So I'll invite people to be there for a moment, but if it feels like there's a lot of resistance, I'll be like, all right, I honor that. That.
Yep. That's cool.
But I love that. I love when, there's lots of vibrations and then going into that silence and stillness. But yeah.
Yeah. I love that sanitizing part you brought to it. That was really cool. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. 100%. I'm curious, how old were you when, I guess in this lifetime, how old were
That's
you?
a great question.
Yeah.
I said, so if I look at my book.
How old were you when you started sort of having a remembrance and like coming online or having an awakening, or how there's a million ways to phrase
Connection
it.
to spirit.
Connection,
Voices, stuff,
Or did it ever leave you? Like, because we all come
Sure.
as children connected, and then we're conditioned out of it.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I feel like from when I was a young kid, I had really vivid dreams, like wildly vivid dreams. I was like, what do you mean you guys don't dream in color? I was like, it's like a TV show every night. I go to bed. And I realized that wasn't everybody's experience. But when I more consciously got more curious was when probably my last year of college, my second to last year of college, I started to learn about spirits of the land, specifically from a close friend of mine, sending him so much love. And it just made me curious. And then when COVID came about, as we all were closed doors, I'm like, what can I hyperfixate on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
I said, crystals, let me buy a few, $1,000 later.
Yeah.
So
I
you
did yoga.
appreciate the room.
Yes. And, but then I started to get into tarot and understanding the cards and how different energies felt within them, and then oracle cards, and just started to get curious about deconstructing some of the stuff that I was navigating.
Absolutely.
And that was what a lot of the work started at, was unweaving a lot.
Absolutely.
And
And it's cool, and like honoring it for what it was at that time, but then experiencing it like more conscious and being like, wow, this is why, or just being able to flow with it.
Right.
Like the flow has been like, whoa, okay, I need to do this more because I get stuck on things and I'm like, nope, it just needs to flow. Keep going.
Yeah,
It's
right.
It's kind of cool.
I know. I like, I'll put myself in timeout sometimes when I'm like, ooh, I might want to drop into our heart. Feels a little mindy up in here.
A little mindy.
It's begging for a little bit of the spotlight right now. Let's dive into it. Yep,
okay.
yep.
Yes, we're here. We're present. What do you wish to show me, heart?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I just had some intentional, like, my best friend and I, for our birthdays, we would shut our phones off for 3 days and then fast. Cool. And it kind of started there. And that was just like there is a physiological response that happens when you do that. And that kind of opened this door for me to like, step in.
Yeah.
And that was like really powerful. And and then as time progressed, I started connecting with the guides and different beings of sorts.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense too. Fasting, electronics, and consumption, and just it's amazing what happens when that goes away.
Come back to the self.
You're like,
yourself,
oh, whoa! I could hear so much more. Wow, this is so cool. I was silencing so much, I'm like, which is amazing. Like you're silencing, but you're not, because you're like blah blah blah, all this blah 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 blah, and you're like, oh well, all that blah 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 is making a silence. Now you silence that, and all this is like, I'm like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's the thing with technology, there's so much access to so much information, and it's just constantly flowing. And so there's such value in intentionally setting it down, even like when it gets, so for me, I have a inner kind of practice of like, when I wake up in the morning, I won't touch my phone probably for the first like hour to hour and a half. Before I engage. And I also, in that space, like I'm meditating, I'm grounding in for however long I need to sit at my altar, to ensure that like I'm setting the tone for my day centered.
Exactly.
Well, delete, not I. The way they said, oh yeah? I'm like, not I. To ensure that there is a supportive container around me for the day.
I like that.
That's awesome.
But you spoke the words prior because maybe those are your intentions and where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, it's also that mind piece.
Yes.
It's like, ooh, logically, I can, like, my Virgo, it just comes up this way, and I honor that for her. Gotta bring it back in. So it's a team effort.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're a Taurus as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Very grounded.
So, wow.
Very grounded. So, what was that?
We were on a tangent just about kind of like
Technology
coming
and
online and like and sort of how you came to all these. But I really like that you brought up divination tools because a lot of people have a stigma around it being like witchcraft, with which saying something witchcraft isn't necessarily bad either. You know, there's a stigma around that as well. But using divination tools can look like anything. It can look like tarot cards. It could look like crystals. It could look like literally a deck of playing cards, anything with numbers and symbols and how you can connect with your guides.
It could be a thought that you're like, oh, it popped
a
up.
Download,
Let's see
But that's definitely something I was always interested in. Tarot cards, like they were just so mystical and pretty, and it was the art on them that I really liked. And I was very drawn to crystals and to tarot cards, and I think that was a really big push into guiding me into how to communicate and how to be connected.
Oh, absolutely.
And then for those of you that don't know, you don't always have to have those. You can grow your practice into having an intuitive download of information without using something physical in front of you. But it just helps. I find it helps to communicate if you do like a reading for someone else. Like now I don't necessarily need them as often for myself. Yeah.
Right. And I honor what you spoke to about there being a stigma around divination tools. Something I've come to know, because they are not used as prominently in my personal practice anymore. And even when I work with individuals, I feel like my gifts have strengthened to just be able to channel more directly.
Oh, yeah.
And I honor how they are supportive for however long or wherever they are supportive in people's lives. You know, ultimately we're all unweaving quite a bit of ancestral stored energy, and like in celebration, I honor everybody's journey on that path. Because there's also lineages that, like, that witch wound is still very prevalent.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's because I've heard in conversation people even speaking on like the use of the word witch and like claiming that as part of their truth. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
That was the car.
I was like, y'all.
Yeah. I saw your eyes.
They're here. I said, gotta
like,
go.
Yeah, she's like, you guys are listening to this, right?
Oh,
Unfortunately, that was a loud car outside.
Yes.
or a spaceship, you
Or a
know.
spaceship.
We'll
Yeah,
honor
there's a
that.
spaceship.
Please.
I said, all right, they're here for me. Let's go. So I'm on
And
duty
who's to
always.
say that sound that we just heard wasn't actually what we needed to hear?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
It was kind of neat.
And so, but I feel like when I've talked or spoken with other people who are in spirituality that are like, oh, like people who claim, you know, different words as identities, it's ultimately just honoring whatever journey
Yeah.
people are on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is like in context of people within the spiritual space, like how people choose to like identify and claim what resonates with them. Like that's yay. Like
Yeah.
we're all
Exactly.
like, we're all doing
Exactly.
something in this much grander scale thing that is happening. But that being said, there is a balance in understanding why we're claiming the identities we claim, and you know, where is that resonance coming from? Because I think sometimes people who maybe are just stepping onto the path, they're like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and it's like, that's amazing. I love like your curiosity and interest in that. You know, how does that resonate for you? Like where do you feel that in your body? Like what is that? Just inviting that deeper conversation, I think, can be really powerful.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I can tell you're coming from a place of having conversations with youth, because it's very prevalent to proclaim an identity and then have it change drastically.
Yeah.
Sometimes overnight. And honoring that, but also guiding them and asking questions is very, and that the youth in our physical bodies, but our youth in the age of our souls, you can be any age and need that guidance and honoring, because it's confusing.
Very confusing.
It's almost like a perfect time to be. Where did Opal come from?
Yeah, where were you born?
Oh, well, the name Opal or the location?
Ooh,
good
all of
point.
it.
All of it.
So I was born here in Wenatchee, so my
cool.
beautiful birth land contract is here, and the physical location that babies are born is like really important for like the earth level thing that is happening. So very grateful to be received and welcomed on these lands. They're like, we're happy to have you. Oh, we're here in the historic downtown of Wenatchee, so I'm also feeling those energies too.
Oh,
so beautiful.
this
yeah,
building
this
is on
too.
some chalked spiritual
Yes.
vibes.
Yes. And so, but yeah, so I was born here. And then when it came to moving, I went to the University of Washington for 2 years, and then I moved back here. And then a move is currently in conversation, truthfully. That's been an ongoing conversation with the guides of, it feels like I'm kind of meant to be in multiple locations. So I'm curious about how that'll unfold. Surrendering, just know that I hear you on this beautiful Aries moon. Surrendering, yes. Currently in service, so here I'm Munay-Ki. But when it comes to my name, I had a dream in 2022. Yeah, it was 2022, July of 2022. And it was just very prevalent. And I was in Wenatchee on South Mission. So it was just right here that this dream took place. And I was coming down the hill and I like walked and I found these 2 rings on the sidewalk, and one was like a lion, like had 2 or 3 lions heads on it. It was like a more masculine ring, and the other one had a opal ring on it that had 2 lions heads on it, and the opal was this bright blue, and I was like,
Ooh.
that's wild. I have not seen an opal, but I knew it was opal. So I went into the shop and I was like, is this anybody's? They're like, no, you keep it. And I was like, okay, great. I'm like, great. And then I walk back up the street and there's just like a bunch of like
We hear that too.
police. Yeah, no, I was like, I'm focused. Yeah, the police people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
that's incredible timing, Spirit. Incredible.
Yep.
Incredible.
But it was a large police presence, and it wasn't just like local police. It was like up to like high ranked military officials and like just a lot. And they were going the opposite way on the one way. So it's a one way mission
Right.
is going north, but in this dream it was going south. And then they turned to go down, and the streets were lined like it is during our like parade festival that we have here in Wenatchee, and it's like people were just crying, so like weeping deeply. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I picked up these rings and I'm like, what has occurred? And then this military like personnel person come to me and they're like, Noah Dome is going to prison. And I was like, what does that mean? What? But whatever it was, it felt like the military personnel were not happy that they had to do this, but they had to do it for a reason. And so then at the end of the dream, somebody comes up to me, and there's about 7 of us, and they were like, we're going to help fix this. And I was like, okay. And I woke up and I'm like, that was quite profound. I'm like, that I like need to really sit with this. And so I did. And it came through of Noah Dome being representative of like Noah, and my heart immediately went to Noah's Ark and just like the scale of impact on the global peace. Like that was what that felt in reference to. Because that's the thing with spirit. Sometimes those meanings, it's how it resonates for us and like how it makes sense to us, not necessarily what it always means.
Yeah.
And then dome, you know, in relation to like sacred containers, in relation to like pyramids. And I was like, boom, Egypt, let's go. So then I like was led on this whole like research, which is fun. Those are fun when I get sent on those. This whole research thing, and it was identifying that this dream is representative of the divine feminine being locked away, because if what was unfolding on the planet when that decision was made would have destroyed it. And so people who had the wisdom of that this was happening, put it in this sacred container. Now, in this dream, it was representative of the reawakening of it and the freeing of this like energy being like, you know, confined for so long. And so this dream occurred, months went by, and the following like February, I had found this like really blue opal, like super blue opal, like in the dream. And I was like, whoa.
In your waking life, you
yes,
saw one?
Yes. Yes. And so then the name of the mining company that mined this opal was Hopkins Opal. And Hopkins is my last name. And I was like, Opal Hopkins. I'm like, that sounds pretty good. And so I was like, oh, maybe it's one of my spirit babies' names. I was like, that doesn't feel right. And I sat with it and I'm like, that's my name. And like, so this opal is mined out of Lightning Ridge in Australia, and very, very beautiful blue opal. And then in, I think, June of 2024, I was on Facebook, and there was a person locally who had gotten an opal from Lightning Ridge, and so I bought that ring from them. And then that was that, and I went to the court and I changed my name.
That's amazing.
Turned it around, and like, yeah. And so and then from there, once the actual name change occurred, it was just all of these other things started opening, because Opal, I mean, one, the names of things carry vibration.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I feel opals as they exist where they are at around the planet. And also just like what that name means, and light, and people are like, pure white is what I think of. I'm like, oh, wonderful. And yeah, and so it's been a really beautiful process too, to also honor similarly like the grief of my old name, and
Yeah.
seeing where like belief systems had to like unweave, so then like opals could anchor properly.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of ceremony around that for me, and that was a really powerful thing. And people who I had talked to who had changed their names was like, don't deny those moments, because that
absolutely.
also just like pushes it back down. And so I really honored too, like the people in my community that had known me since I was a child. When they wouldn't call me by Opal initially, it's like, oh, I like honor that you're also learning in this journey with me of like hearing that name, because I would still respond to my old name, like, or I would like turn back.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's not as often anymore, but there are moments. And when that happens, I'm like, oh, how can I support you, young one? Like, is there something forward like that you are needing assistance with? So yeah.
I
That's
love
awesome.
that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love that you had that dream a couple years ago, when now is this transcendent divine feminine coming back.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
it's like stirring and starting to be powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And interestingly enough, like right this morning I was reading this guy, like he writes and he posts videos, he does all sorts of content, but he was talking about the radar that's occurring at the pyramids currently, and they're finally being allowed to look at what's underneath some of these pyramids. And what's going to be unlocked is knowledge that's been kept from us for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And not just this energetic knowledge. I'm talking physical writings and proof and evidence of so much.
Right.
And that's including the divine feminine.
Yep.
And we're going to be shifting, get ready, people, out of the patriarchy.
This is exciting news for the community.
Yep.
As a person who is also at the forefront of this transition.
Yeah. You're like, let the age of Aquarius begin now.
Yeah. So it's just really cool to hear you talk about that dream, when I was just reading about all this Egypt unlocking, all these like beautiful things that are about to come to life.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and it's really beautiful too, because it's, I have a community of people in my network who have, been stepping in with this awareness for several years as well, even before many for a long time
Oh,
have
yeah.
been
decades,
aware that this has been unfolding. And so it's really beautiful to get to see just the many layers that are stepping forward to be of support, because it is layered. Like, reconstructing a whole paradigm is not night work. Like, that's
No.
like, it is in the context of astral traveling, but like, it takes time, because
Lots of layers.
also, like, even speaking on in the last episode where you mentioned like free will and how that like overlays, that overlays into these movements as well. It's like when, if somebody, just like for an example, if somebody who is like a priestess decides, or like their soul chooses to maybe continue on a path that's more based in fear, that's a energy that the like bigger mission maybe doesn't necessarily have the support of, even with their like wisdom as a priestess, because their operation right now is based in more fear. And so it's up to them to unweave that, to be of support. And that's the awakening process, right? Is how are we in support of this like greater community and collective? And so getting, okay, in human speak, getting the shareholders online for this mission.
That's a great way to put it in terms
love
that
it
some of our
too.
listeners would actually click with.
Yeah, like getting them online to like do what we came here to do. It's, and it's really beautiful when it comes to like the galactic and like quantum knowledges that have stepped forth, because there are a lot of teachings from a lot of different people that are like going to be like, whoa, because once we get to a point where society as a whole is kind of, I don't want to say not impressed, because that is like that's not what it is.
But it's like, oh, well, we know that.
It feels normal. It feels like, oh, this is something I know in my body as truth on the societal level. There's a whole other like piece and like education.
It's like comfort.
Yeah, that comes up, and even they're just advising me to continue talking about this. When I went to Mount Shasta, and I've gone 2 times and pending another trip currently, being an educator for myself, like that wasn't ever limited to just the human like experience. Like it was also bringing these knowledges down. And for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with, Mount Shasta is one of many sacred sites around the planet, and is very known for happenings happening when people go there. Many folks connect to Saint Germain while there. Lemuria is an active open portal for Lemuria.
Like a lay point, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, a lay point on the ley lines.
Yep.
And also is spoken on the root chakra of the earth chakras. It's a volcano, sacred
and it's
site.
on the chain, right?
Of the Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And it is very sacred to the tribes there, because I do want to honor Wintu, Modoc. Oh, there are other ones. Those were the specific lineages that we had worked with when we had gone down there. The Mount Shasta peoples, of course, and various other lineages. And it's just a very sacred spiritual mountain. Many will go there for spiritual retreats, have like these really profound awakenings. For me, when I went there, it's fun because when I go and experience earth keeping like layers, which is, doing that work with the ley lines, working with the ancestors of the land for me, it just is like I'm receiving it just as like I'm talking to a person. Like it doesn't feel like super like extreme or wild, but then I'll go home and process it, and I'm like, oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a very big deal. And the teachings that came through last time I was there are continuing to be formulated in a digestible form because of the scale that it is. It's also like walking with wisdom of when they are to be spoken.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like ancient wisdom and remembrance, which is the exact reason why, like, originally, not even limited to just Egypt, but any ancient texts had been either lost or like put away, was because society didn't know how to hold them. And
absolutely, yeah.
For various reasons. That's a layered conversation. But yeah.
Have you heard of Matthias de Stefano?
Yes.
Okay. Because your work is like so familiar to his, and he talks about everything you just talked about. Yes. I love that man.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved diving deep into the Gnostics and understanding that, and like the divine feminine and how that was so huge in the Gnostics, and Sophia and all that. I'm like, wow, that was a big diving into that knowledge. I was like, okay, yes, I could see what's been happening. It was a big awakening to me to the feminine and masculine, and how those energies have been, in play in the last forever.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, it's been amazing. I'm like, I love deep diving.
It is very fascinating.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for technology, I don't think that I would have had this rapid understanding of everything, because that was the thing that I could go to with my questions and inquiry and find answers. And so I've actually struggled of putting that down, because I'm constantly like, I want more information. But my guides have been telling me, the information, the people, go talk to the people.
Yeah.
Quit quit looking at your device, put the device down, go connect with community. You know what to do now. And so I'm like,
welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So awesome.
Which combines both technology and people.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
No, like
The stories need to be shared. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's this age of technology is important, but it's also balance and
Absolutely.
Balance.
And one of the pieces, because I resonate with that, like there are times where I receive that guidance as well.
Oh yeah.
Like said, put it down. Like, how does it feel in your body with what you just received?
Exactly. The integration part.
Exactly.
Because you could, oh man, that was so huge. Because you could just digest, and you're like, wait a minute, I need this stuff to resonate. I need to integrate it.
Yeah.
You know, and what was funny, I was like doing all kinds of stuff and going on to lots of sound journeys and exploration and trying everything. And my friend Megan was like, Dan, have you like done much integration part of this portion? I feel like you need to like integration, the stillness. And I'm like, stillness, integration.
I said, I'm going to be in the cave for the next 3 months. Please.
Yeah, but it was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I needed that. That's kind of cool, and it's fun finding the balance of it. You're like, that point has really, been profound, because I've always naturally been a this and a this and not a that.
Well, that's like the balance of the masculine and feminine within too.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
It's like the ability to go into the higher chakras and then back down into the
oh
lower.
man, love it.
Yeah. There's I love the galactic and quantum conversations.
Me
'Cause
too.
it's
Well,
fun.
it's the continuation of work that Tesla and Einstein were starting to just like tap into, and of course got completely ran over and stifled at the time. And those are just two names of the people that we know about. I love going down the quantum conversations.
Like, and we still happen to be between two galaxies.
Yeah. I know. I was having that conscious thought. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful.
It's so cool.
Thank you. Yes, I recently kind of been diving deeper into like quantum entanglement and what that's looking like in a science realm and how they're studying it.
Yeah.
Interesting. What has your research yielded?
Well, concern with CERN, CERN, who is actively and openly studying atoms and their interaction with each other, and using the world's like the biggest mechanism that takes up 17 miles underground, the Hydra Collider underneath Geneva. I'm not making this up, you guys. You guys, they have a website. Go to it, look it up.
I told everybody in the break room because I'm a welder and a tradesman, and I was like, look up CERN, guys, and they started looking it up. They're like, what the?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, concern and the Hydra Collider used to be a conspiracy theory.
Right.
Yep.
But now it's not a theory.
No.
Like they're out there. And it's just that balance of like taking something beautiful like quantum entanglement, where you can have a particle move over here and the other particle does exactly that. And it could be across the universe from each other. And so it's kind of it sort of opens this dialogue about timelines and parallel universes and these things that have just been sort of like not even theorized, like people just totally we don't talk about that, that's crazy, like we're the earth is the only existence in the whole universe, you know, like that sort of
that's a bold statement.
Yep. That's a bold statement. But now you have science and people that
they're actually starting to,
and they're studying it, and they're trying to manipulate use these concepts to manipulate and create and do what mankind does, and sort of like manipulate the things to gain power and control. And yes, it's exploration, but also, do you need to forcefully collide two atoms to make a mini like freaking black hole and possibly shift us into a timeline or destruct us, or like, you know?
It's beautiful because as you're talking, I'm like I'm seeing it from the perspective of like galactic families, like looking at the beings of Earth, like, oh, look at them trying to remember how to like do this. And it's like, don't get me wrong, what is being discussed, these are very serious and could have very serious impacts. But it's also like viewing Earthlings from like if we got to join the galactic family levels again.
Poke.
Yeah, it's like, they're making this little thing. They're gonna be able to make a spaceship because if they're able to figure out like the black hole situation, like those would be mechanisms that would be supportive of like potentially time travel.
Yes.
Now that being said,
portals and
exactly. To have like the physical, it would be very interesting on the third dimension to have access to that because of what the density of the third dimension holds.
Yeah.
And so, it would be interesting. I feel like it would that would offer a different vibration, quite literally, to the universe. Seeing how dense the Earth has become.
There's the police again. They're like, don't do it.
Where are they? We're in the cave.
We're in the cave, guys.
Undisclosed location.
Are you familiar with Dr. Brian Weiss and Dolores Cannon's work in past life regression therapy? And,
yes.
And Dolores Cannon, through her like work with her clients, and she's gathered information about our galactic families, and sort of like we are in this very like toddler development of like just what the universe has to hold. It's like watching your kid play with Play-Doh, like, and not really knowing like what to do with it.
Exactly.
And just smushing it around.
This feels funny.
And I find her really fascinating because of what she shares from her clients' perspectives of overseeing thousands of clients and having very similar
and the
shared
stories. Oh.
Yeah, and she talks a lot about the world collective shift and how our galactic families are watching us right now, really excited to see this first time ever shift for the Earth in this timeline. Yeah. And I think that exploration with quantum entanglement is a key to unlocking, because like you said, if they can figure this out and use it to not destroy the world.
Which, fingers crossed, because, we've been trying to hold it down for them for a long time.
Red or blue cord.
If they can use it to access what the potential really is, maybe unlocking portals and shifting into higher dimensions, like that very well could be what pushes the whole world into a different 4D state or even 5D or whatever that might hold for us. It's what a time to be alive, guys.
What a time to choose to be here.
Yes.
It's very interesting, and even in my own connections with connecting to the beings outside of just in the galactic family level, it's just always just so powerful, the various realms of contact, the angelic realm, there's the ancestral, and then the ancient, of course, and then within those umbrellas, like so many different other things, and then like the star families, like Sirius and the Light Council there. Very fascinating.
The Galactic Federation.
Yes, of course. That was where my galactic connection first began. I said, ooh, council outside of this planet I could join.
Pick me.
I know, but then it was like, okay, like if you like are serious about this, now you also have to embody what this would mean to be like a representative of Earth on behalf of this, because none of the fear-based anything could go with you to those meetings, because it just is not in their like process
alteration
at all. Like it just isn't like meaning, like purposeful conversations can't happen if those like systems are still active. So okay.
You're like, okay. This has been such an awesome conversation, Opal. I feel so connected to you, and I can't wait to have more conversations with you.
Yeah. I had a lovely time.
Good.
I feel like we got good foundations built for
I
future
know.
things.
Absolutely.
My mom, who shout out mom, she
She
has
loves
been
this.
my our number one listener, and I know she'll listen to this, and
Oh,
we're
she's gonna love
we're
it.
gonna have so many cool conversations.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
And whoever
yeah.
else. I mean, I've loved how this whole thing is developed, and lots of people connect after an episode and they reach out and they're like, wow, that was really interesting, can you tell me more?
Yeah.
Or I've had people oh wow, I didn't realize you guys were on that level of belief. I've been looking for someone to talk
Exactly.
to, and
Yeah.
we've been able to do exactly what we wanted to do and guide people in a direction. Well, we know someone that does this work, you should go talk to them, or we know someone that does this work and you should explore these different things. And
then just creating the space to let these be present, I've got
Yeah.
guys at work who are the blue collar extreme masculinity guys that are I've never heard of knowledge passed this way. This is amazing. This is very intuitive. This is cool. I've never even thought of stuff like this. And it's kind of cool because it creates that interest in them, and they're
Yeah.
they start exploring,
Yep.
and then whoa,
Yeah.
that's kind of neat. I'm that's so cool.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I celebrate how this medicine reaches whoever's meant to reach.
yes, I love that.
Yes.
Do you have any final statements for our beautiful viewers?
Honor others' journeys as you would honor your own.
Absolutely. Love that.
We are shifting and going through a turbulent time as a collective, and it is important that we hold that in grace.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
then-
Yes.
And then do you have anywhere people could find you, like a website or
Yes. I trust that my website will be complete by the time that I was redoing
or
it.
socials
and,
or
yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I am the Sacred Empress across all platforms. If you're curious about the sound alchemy piece, there are some wonderful videos out on YouTube of out in nature, and we channel the medicine of the lands that we are on, and so there's some wonderful medicine there, and that'll be on the Sacred Empress's YouTube, and then on Instagram that as well. And I'm just a galactic girly over there, sharing medicines as
I
they come
love
up.
that.
That's awesome.
And are you okay with us linking it in the description and stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I
Wonderful.
appreciate your energy and your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. And thank you
Thank
for
you
joining
for
us
watching.
between the galaxies.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.